blessing of the Torah.
Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bakar banu mikol ha'amim, ve'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Yahweh, noten haTorah. Amen.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, our power, King of the universe, who has chosen us from amongst all people by giving us your Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah. Amen.
Shalom, shalom. This is Sibaya, Meek No Milk Ministries, coming with another message. A very important message, in fact, and a message that we all know, if you're truly sincere about the true word of Yah from the Aleph to the Tav, from the beginning to the end, that you would know that this is a message that's salvific in nature. Salvific in nature. And it's about the name. It's about the name. And this has been a long controversial topic in this, I would say, in our time. In our time. I wouldn't say that what the name of Yah was, how to pronounce it, in fact, wasn't the issue back in the day of our forefathers. The issue back then is that they kept switching Yahweh's name with Baal and other deities and intermixing it. We're doing that now, thinking that we're worshiping Yahweh. So first, giving all glory, if this is about the name, well, then let's acknowledge him and blow some trumpets, giving all glory and all honor and all praises to Yahweh El Elyon, Yahweh our Father, the most high power in heavens, ruler of the heavens, the universes, and the earth, beyond the heavens. We know that he cannot be contained in your box, but nevertheless, if he wants to be in our presence, he can put himself in the box the way he did in the Ark of the Covenant. Yes, the mercy seat. That was a box, y'all. That's right. He can also put his presence in a tent. He can put his presence in a cloud. And more so than putting him in the box, he can be inside of us. And so, giving all praises to him, and giving all praises to Yahu Yahuah, his son, our high priest, after the order of Melchizedek, the king of righteousness forever and ever, sitting at the right hand of Yahweh, that is, with him, and sitting at the holies of holies, giving a daily sacrifice for us as we give our daily sacrifice towards him. And to the Malik Yahweh, translated as the angel of Yahweh, also known as the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodosh. Holy, holy, holy to the three of them, Achad, for Yahweh is a unity. Hallelujah. And so, you know, the big speech, right, is you can't put him in a box. You can't put him in a box. I would ask anybody to go back and, in other words, what does that mean? What are you saying? We speaking about the name. We know he's omni. He's anything and can be anything he decides to be within his own creation. That's not the question. The question is, what is his name? If you can say it. What is his name and his son's name if you know it? Which is a commandment to know it, to call it, to acknowledge it, to understand it, and walk by the character thereof as his bride. It's the third commandment, or is it the second? It's the second commandment. It's the second commandment. And we know that the 144,000, the ones that are sealed with his name in their foreheads, is sealed with his name in their foreheads. That would be where first? In your mind. That's the commandment, to remember the name of Yahweh. That would be here. And when remembering the name of Yahweh and coupled with fearing the name and the word of Yahweh, that would bring the character that we're supposed to walk in. And his fame is to understand what he has prophesied. That's why the word of prophecy is a light too, by the words of Yahushua and all the prophets, that all came in what? The name of Yahweh and no other name. People say that all of this bickering about the name is senseless, is full of envy and hatred and malice and, disunity. And then they'll quickly say, I know, Yahushua said, I know. What does that mean? When they talk like, I know, Yahushua said he's going to divide, but I got all that, but what does that mean? That's the statement of a rebel. No, if you got all of that, then explain all of that. What's that looking like? So by the time you explain what Yahushua said, I come to divide, father, and those are the closest relationships, husband and wives. And you over here talking about division amongst people that we don't even know on the YouTube that I ain't never met in my whole life, talking about we got hatred for people we don't even know. That don't make no sense. When Yahushua said his word is going to divide the closest of relations, blood, baby, blood. And they call this hatred. Now explain this division. It's over the word. Yes, the name has been a separating factor. And Satan does not want anyone to know it, not even the nations. I'm going to bust this conspiracy out that it's starting from the nations because all our information is coming from who? The nations. All of your so-called black dumb scholars with information is getting all their information from the Gentiles that got the same confusion and argument that we do, because they also have been trying to seek this salvation, and they also too can read, and they also too know that the name is important. So Satan, knowing that the information is flowing through the Gentiles through us back to us, is polluting it from them. But Yah has never left his name unknown. He never said his name would be lost. He said that we would pollute it amongst the Gentiles. And even though the Gentiles have the same disposition of separating because of the name or doctrine, right? Messianic, non-messianic, keep the covenant, don't keep the commandment, keep the feast days, don't keep the feast days. He knows your heart, it don't matter. They got that same thing. What they don't do is what we have done with this foolishness, right? So you say that we're full of hate because we're separate from people that we don't know. Don't make no sense. Okay, so let's talk it from the love side. This Jesus love that y'all be talking, that Christian love. Y'all said to be a unity is to do what? To what? Worship together. What's worship? That would be praising, blessings, singing, prayer. All right, how are we going to do that in the unity if you saying one name, I'm saying another? Can't do it. We can't sing the same song together. It's not going to match. You going to have to sing your song and I'll be like, oh, that was nice. And then I'm going to get up and sing my song. And then it's going to be a battle whose song sound best. Or it's going to be a battle in the ears of people that's not really seeking the truth and just want to feel right of who sound the best and whose name flowed the best in the lyrical flow, right? I think I like that song better. It sounds nicer the way it flowed, right? Yeah, I'll be like, oh, I like that one. Yahweh, right? All right. How can we pray together? We can't even say the same prayers. It's gonna have a stop right there. And I'm gonna look at you, and why we got to say what? It ain't gonna work. Don't tell me about a child don't know the name of his daddy. After a certain age, you do know the name of y'all babies. That's why y'all don't know the name of y'all daddy. So you're supposed to get instruction from the older ones that be like, daddy's name is Yahweh, right? We don't say that, but that's not the relationship right now. He said calling his name, saying Abba ain't enough. So we're not playing that game. If you are just a child and you still don't know the name of your daddy, then you still a child. Get on the breast. Get on the breast. It means you still need to be taught. You need to be still instructed on knowledge, wisdom, and understanding if you're going to play the baby game with your father. Yep. That's where you at with that. All right. We can't pray together. That's confusion. We can't what? We can't sing together, right? We can't bring judgment together, right? Because I'll be like, by the power invested in me by the name of Yahweh, and you be like, by the power invested in me by Yahu Yahuah. And I'll be like, that's not the same power if we talking about the power of the breath. Your breath is a little different than my breath. It's not the same vibration. If y'all knew anything about music and sound, that is the power, then the sound of his name is important. And so y'all want to talk about the breath thing, we're going to talk about the breath thing. Because y'all are ignorant, because y'all still on the breast, saying Abba Yahuah, right? Abba Yah. Can't read the word together. That ain't gonna make sense, right? We can say hallelujah, we can agree on Yah, but you got actually people out there in this new awakening that's even challenging Yah, y'all. They over here, because y'all don't went so far with this ooh stuff, you got people talking about Yahu Yahuah, straight up, because you got to make that work for the whole language, and it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So what you got to do is play with the tuda, shalom, a word here, a word. That's all you got. When you start speaking that language, you're going to sound like ooh, 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 ooh. You're going to sound like an ape or a Neanderthal. It ain't going to work. It don't work. Can't walk. So the theme right now is you can't put them in the box. What does that mean? Right? That's some kind of parabolic term. Nobody said nothing about putting Yahweh's power, manifestation, essence, and existence in a box. That's a false argument. Nor was that the argument that he was speaking in the beginning of the video. Right? How you change the whole answer to the argument when they was like, well, his name is, well, I heard his name is, some say, and you be like, you know what? It don't matter. You can't put him in a box. What that ain't even an argument. We all know he's omni, every, all in all. I would respect the person that I say, I believe in a higher power that's above all things. I just don't know his name. You better off like that. We know that. How do we know that y'all respected that much? Because Israel act like they knew Yah. They even experienced Yah, even called out Yah, worship Baal, and they were sent to hell for it. Paul went to another town in Greece, and they had, I don't know what the statue was, but they had the one who has no name. Paul didn't say he worshiped an idol. They recognized that he was the higher power of all things. They just was like, I don't know his name. They were better off doing that than trying to go in and figure out a new name for him. By the time Paul came into that city and they put a name on it, we would have idol worship. But because they was like, he who has no name, or we don't know his name, Paul went back and said, tell him his name is Yahweh. Now you straight. Well, you know what, so tell me what you mean by put his name in the box. After you declared it, how do you explain to people what does that mean when you say that? Because you accuse people of hatred under this so-called parabolic speech, putting them in the box. Well, this is what I got to say about putting them in the box. That's the box that you carpenters rejected. It's called the rock. And the rock is actually square, level, and plumb. Guess what that is? That's a box. It's the box, the square, the line that you all should be measuring your work, your walk, and your talk, your songs by. It's called, in construction, let's talk on a square. And if we ain't talking on a square, then you're not speaking straight. That's what it means to talk on a square. It's to talk straight, talk level, talk plumb. Otherwise, we got topsy-turvy house. And that means talk truth. And so we're going to talk on the box. 3 dimensionals. We're going to talk on the box. Now, some of you right now that love Yahuah and swear by Yahuah is going to turn me off. Don't worry. You'll be cut off. And those that will open their ear to hear what I'm going to say, to edify you, to show you the lie that you've been spun in this new awakening movement. And it's all about money, y'all. It's all about a new sale and a new gimmick. That this awakening is nothing but an awakening, and you'll think you have worship, what you call Abba Yah. All right. First of all, let me make myself clear that I have not shunned anybody from my ministry because they called upon a different name. Everyone that I'm looking at right now came most likely in the name of Yahuah, right? Anybody came in any other name? So all of y'all, except you, and you came from what? Yahuah. That's a camp. Well, Yahuah is the version of Yahushua. What did they call the father? Yahuah, yeah. Yahuah. That's funny. They barely say the father's name. Yahuah. That's camp. So that also marks your roots. I want you to understand your roots. The name you call upon marks your roots. Now, one of the things about Yahweh's name is that its roots is just in truth. But as it has branched out and been defiled amongst the nations has picked it up, and it has been defiled amongst our people, right? So a lot of people are scared to take up Yahweh's name because what was the biggest defilement of Yahweh's name amongst our age that we know of? Before slavery. Y'all don't know nothing about what happened in Africa. So we're not going to talk about Africa. We're going to talk about our slavery through Christianity off the ships into the lands of Americas. Huh? No. I'm talking about our people. No, I mean, yes, the whole thing about Jehovah's Witness. And when I show you this information, it's going to make sense how the Jehovah's Witness came up with their interpretation of the name, how they stuck to it, right? So this is not just going to deal with Yahuah, but when I go into this root, to this foundational lie or disinformation or lack of intelligent reading, you're going to see how all of these variations of Jehovah, Yehovah, all of that came into being, and now all into Yahuah. Now you might say, I don't want to hear nothing because Yahu is legit. Yahu is legit. You see what I said, right? The Yahu and Yahuah conspiracy. What? I'm speaking blasphemy. Give it a chance. Give it a chance. Hear it. I'm going to show you that you've been lied to. You've been lied to. And it took me some time to trace the roots of this whole conspiracy, but I found it. But Yahweh was always known, even before this side of the world. It was known across the world. It was never lost on this side of the earth. But what happened in the Americas recently that caused people to disdain the thought of claiming Yahweh? What was the first big defilement of Yahweh's name that caused people to be embarrassed to use his name? Anybody know? Yahweh ben Yahweh. Yahweh ben Yahweh was the first name amongst our people. False Messiah amongst our own people that blasphemed Yah's name across the whole world. His reputation is still going out across the whole world, and it's making us look bad as Yahweh believers because they would assume that we might be a Yahweh ben Yahweh follower, and it's not true. Well, I'm telling you that he was government sent. To this day, this man had hundreds of millions of dollars out of nowhere, instantly, and built this empire and put Yahweh's name on the soap, Yahweh's name on the hat, Yahweh's name on the bar, Yahweh's name on the cup, Yahweh's name on the truck, Yahweh's name on the tire, Yahweh's name on the suit, Yahweh's name on the restaurant, Yahweh's name on the paper, Yahweh's name on whatever it is that they was creating. They put Yahweh supermarket, Yahweh this, Yahweh that, Yahweh on the t-shirt, Yahweh on the sneakers, Yahweh on your lipstick, Yahweh on the necklace, Yahweh everywhere. Yahweh on the bill, Yahweh everywhere. This was blasphemous. What is that when you put Yahweh's name plastered on every materialistic thing? What? Commercialization of Yahweh's name is called for the dollar. I want y'all to follow what I'm saying. Whether it's the true name or not, whether you believe that or not, whatever name you believe in, by the time you put it on shirts, hats, sneakers, socks, earrings, necklaces, big balls around, I don't know, wherever they put it on. And they sell it on a song. I don't care. They reprinting the Bible. Don't get me wrong. Good work requires good payment. So when I say put it on a song, you got to understand the difference of that marketing thing that you're doing. What are you inspired by? Yahweh ben Yahweh was the first to do that and blaspheme his name all over this world. And to this day, it's like he's an embarrassment to the black man defiling his name amongst the nations. And nobody knows where those hundreds of millions came from. He had his hands tied with politicians. He was a criminal. He was an evil man, but he came out the Nation of Islam. Nobody know where Elijah Muhammad got his millions from that instantly started this movement. And as soon as people got money, they got fame, they got fortune, they got power. So their word now takes a stand. And now everybody gonna flock to that if you got money. Well, the same thing happened with Yahweh ben Yahweh. And so now we got people that's supposedly searching out Yahweh's name. And when they look up Yahweh, they see Yahweh ben Yahweh, be like, I don't want to be a part of that. Don't want to be a part of that. So you look for something different. Can't be that. Why can't be? Can't be Yahweh. Now this is an anti-Messiah. Now we got some dude, I'm gonna put the picture up, called King Yahweh. This dude is not a righteous dude at all. He's not even professing righteousness. It's a gimmick to sell off of Yah's name. And he said any publicity is good publicity, right? So he did the most publicized thing that an abominable thing you could ever do to get the publicity. Hollywood set him up to blaspheme Yahweh's name. We don't know who was behind Yahweh ben Yahweh, but they try to blame Gaddafi for it. I don't believe Gaddafi was behind it. I believe our own government was. How he funneled hundred millions of dollars in the bank and the FBI still couldn't figure out how it got in the bank. Where do you see that at? Well, we're going to talk on the square and put you in the box. So, y'all, I got some things to show you, and I hope that you will listen to me. You might see some names and hear some names that you love. And I know that I'm the most hated. Based upon me being the most hated, give me some credit and hate on me today. Just hear me out, and you can hate on me the whole video, but just hate on me today while you're listening. Okay, give me some credit here, because people are like, why you just can't edify? I am edifying, but my mission also is to judge, correct, and rebuke. I'm a prophetess. You may not like that, but anybody that y'all call by his name, that's what they sent here to do. Give me some hate credit right now and hate me all the way through. Get your ice cream, get your popcorn, and hate me today. But if you listen to this to the end, you're not going to hate me. You might not like how I delivered the message, but I'm going to try to do it in a way that you can receive it. But you're not going to hate me by the end of this message. You either going to hate yourself or you're going to hate Yahweh. You're not going to say, can we all get along for the kingdom? No, you're going to hate Yahweh because you're going to try to blame him for your deceptive heart. Right? I'm about to question you. Are you really seeking and searching for the truth of Yahweh's name? Or are you about the fame, the money, the gain in this whole thing? Are you a sheeple, go with the masses? I can make the money off the masses. There's a marketing and everybody is coming. Where can I market my stuff? Now, y'all might sit up here and try to say the same thing about Malcolm, but Malcolm, out of this whole fake Yahuah Yahuah movement, is the only one that had the balls, the heart, and the love for the truth to put the music that she sang in another name down. Not just stop singing it, she took it down. That means that she lost, y'all hear me? She lost hundreds, thousands of views when she put Yahuah down and came to Yahweh and claimed Yahweh. She lost thousands of dollars when she put Yahuah down and came to Yahweh. She lost hundreds of, I'm gonna say admirers, who cares, when she put Yahweh's name down, with Yahuah's name down and switched to Yahweh. And she gained thousands of haters because she won't let y'all continue to show her sing Shema Israel in the name of Yahuwah. That music is gone, but Yah's gonna replace it with a new song and a new dance and something that actually came from the set apart Hashemayim, from the heavens. The stuff y'all singing is trash. Oh, what about Hadara? We're gonna get to Hadara. Hadara, I wanna prescribe to you. Do you really love the name of Yahuwah? Or you are in it for the marketing money of your beautiful music? Are you really about the sincere praises of Yahweh's name? Or you just found a wonderful gimmick? Because this may challenge you. And because I think that you're stubborn and you're really in it for the money and the fame, and you have a false humility that you won't even listen to this out. While you share information, loads of information with other people that you can't even break down yourself, that you don't even know that you know, that you know. But that's not my situation here. Everyone here came in Yahuwah's name except a few people. Everyone. Did I order anybody not to say Yahweh? I mean, not to say Yahuwah? Did I blast anybody out? Like a child, I fed you with kindness and love. I didn't disunify. All I did was take over the praises for now, right? But it's no need to do that online. We're supposed to be getting educated in the truth first. You can't worship Yahweh in the spirit and you don't have the truth. We couldn't sing the praises of Yahweh's unity the way we do now without having the truth. And so it was my job to, what? Just throw thousands of information on you? No. Talk you in circles about educated, big language that you can't understand? No. Slowly bring you back to understanding. And I have the authority to do it because guess what? I'm coming from inside the language. I'm not a scholar of the language. I'm speaking from inside the language, meaning I know the language. I've been hearing the language for over 25 years. I've been speaking the language. I've been writing the language and reading the language. No, my head has not been in Strong's Concordance, Bible Hub, Blue Bible, on the YouTube, on the computer. I'm talking about literal experience. And when you get inside the language, you can discover through the constant, repetition of hearing something and learning the meanings and how a word is being used. You can learn the rules of Hebrew without being taught the rules. Though I went to Ulpan Hebrew school in Israel for like 3, 4, 5 times over. 4 or 5 times over. I'm coming from within the language, not outside reading Strong's Concordance. All of these people, oh, I know what you're saying, not mine. I'm going to get yours. I bet you yours is on this list. All of yours is coming from scholarship, reading Strong's Concordance, breaking down words and numbers type research. I'm coming from within the language. So I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. And so we've also been learning Hebrew. And because y'all are learning Hebrew, y'all can actually understand what it is that I'm going to say, though it may sound like a lot of knowledge. So y'all that are listening to people, your teachers try to explain away Yahweh and say it is Yahudah or Yahuah or Yahu, they load you up with knowledge that you can't even repeat, explain, or even understand. The stuff that they're giving you, you would have to know the language already to even speak to it. So we're going to talk about some things today, and I am going to edify you, and I'm going to educate you, and it's going to be to the point that's the end of the matter. It's going to be the end of the matter, but it's not going to be the last strike. What it is that we've already declared the victory in his truth. Hallelujah. All right. So the other thing, they say we don't have to divide because of the name. Yes, we do. That's Yah's commandment. That is part of the sword. And we're going to divide because of the name. And you've divided because of the name. You're only coming together for music and selling books, but you are divided. You are very well divided, right? What you will do is unite to come against a prophet of Yah in the name of Yahweh, right? In that you will be united, but greatly divided. All right. So they say, why we got hatred. No, we don't got hatred. I love you, brothers. I love my brothers and sisters that what? Do the will of my Father. That's right. And I love some of my brothers and sisters that are in ignorance, that come with a humble heart, willing to hear what I got to say as a proclaimed knowledgeable one, as a proclaimed teacher, as a proclaimed leader, as a proclaimed, I've walked this out for many years of my life. I was born into this. I've been on this side of the world. I know the language, and I said I'm a prophet. You owe it to Yah to hear me out to the very end. You owe it. You talk about hatred. When somebody comes and says, it is not Yahweh, but you know it is, and you came in the name of Yahweh, being able to prove it, ain't that a fighting word? As soon as you declare what it is, you're declaring it what it isn't. And so you're in the argument. You are a hypocrite at that point. If you want to unify, then you keep your mouth shut. But as soon as you get up on this media and declare anything, what it is or what it isn't, you're in the war of separation. You're a liar. This Lauren that say you can't put him in a box declared his name. Which one is your message? Because by the time you said it is Yahuah, he is Yahuah, then you put him in a box. And you denied every other version of the name, as if you know that you know that you know, but you get up there and start speaking about love and hate, and we still learning. Don't do that. Don't you dare get up there and behind your acting hip-hop ghetto, proclaim something so strongly, and then in your regular speaking, I'm anointed voice, act humble about it. That is hypocrisy. Y'all can go back to my lesson about hypocrisy. Right? Double-faced. What's real hatred? What is good and what is evil? Because we are in that time. By the time you want us to unite with the Ahaya people, you want us to unite with GOCC and his rebel of Yahuah, Kana, you want us to unite? How could you, when these very people that you call yourself uniting with has declared openly, not just Yahweh, even though they attacking Yahweh distinct, they said that Yod He Wahe or Yod He Uhe or any form of the 4 letters is Satan. Those are fighting words. By the time you say that in Torah, you're supposed to be stoned. You're supposed to be stoned. That's not a separating, dividing line. When somebody says that what you worship is the devil, and you want to unify with that, I don't have a problem. See, it's a false argument. Do we have a problem with the term Yahuah, Asher, Yahuah? Don't we got songs singing the praises of the term or the how do I say, the description of Yahweh, as in he is Yahuah, Asher, Yahuah? We got a song to it. It's already up there. You don't know it yet. Lie, 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 lie. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Yahweh. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Who Asher, Yahweh. That's our song. I don't sing it because I don't get that high. Did you know? Right? Okay. We can do it again. Help me. We don't have a problem with it. That didn't divide us. We're not divided from people that said, who Yahuah, Asher, Yahuah. What divided us from them is because they clearly said that Yahweh is the devil and Satan, and that we was all devil worship, we was going to hell. That's the end of, there is no discussion with that. There is no discussion with that. Nor did y'all ever declare we should pray to a higher. And so I educated you in a very strong way. Like I said, there might be strong words, but that's how y'all feel about his name. He's jealous for his name. Look up the word zeal. It means fiery, hot, tempered. You ever felt jealousy before? It's a burning fire inside of you. And when you are jealous, you want to smite the one that makes you jealous. So I'm a prophet. I'm here speaking the zeal of Yahweh's name. I'm not speaking hatred. I'm trying to tell you how he feel about what you're saying. Even if you don't know, your arrogance and your disposition to say, let's unite no matter what. Though I know y'all is jealous for his name's sake, I know we have, how do I say, undermined the power and the importance of his name. We've diminished it. However, I do agree, but I do agree, aside from what y'all said, I do agree we should come together. Y'all don't know a rebel and a demonic blasphemous statement when you hear one? But it sounds like Jesus' love on top of that, right? It's nothing but a rebel. That's how you call good evil and evil good. You don't know. I'm still on the first page here. We ain't went nowhere yet, right? You can skip me. I'm going to cue it up on the bottom and go straight to the information, the edifying information. Okay? So now I want to talk about this conspiracy. In all my 47 years, I've heard Jehovah, I've heard those things, right? I've heard Yahweh and I heard Yahuah. There was a time when we was in Israel, Demona Israel, they said Yahuah, they still say Yahuah. We said Yahweh. Once again, let me declare, I was never a part of them, nor did we follow their doctrine. What separated us was their belief in Messiah. I want y'all to understand, it ain't just a name. Y'all need to stop making a false argument. It ain't just about the name. It's about the doctrine. So you want us to unite with Yahuah Shai people when they over here teaching that Yehoshua was the son of a bastard. Don't simplify this remnant that y'all's calling out against the rest. Don't simplify this. Don't simplify this narrow path that few be that find it. Don't simplify it into one argument. It's the whole word. It's the whole word. You offend one, you offend them all. So how are we supposed to unite with people when they got a different Messiah? We was taught if they have what? If they come in a different name, a different doctrine, a different spirit, a different glad tidings, we just shun away from that. What are you talking about? Then y'all gonna get up here talking about we the melanated people. What, we united because we, you stupid, shut up. You stupid. You clearly the racist. You speak in love, but you clearly the racist at the end of the day, if it's all about melanation in the skin. All right. The Yahu conspiracy, right? Y'all already saying, no, what about Yemi Yahu, Zechariah Yahu, Kana Yahu, Deborah Washman Yahu, Eli Yahu, give me the other ones, right? Yoshi Yahu, right? Everybody got Yahoo, and I swear I was like, what everybody put Yahoo on their name? What the hell is this? But I realized now it was a proclamation for Yahuah, not Yahweh, but Yahuah, Yahu. And I ain't have a problem with the Yahoo. It was one time I didn't think and nothing wrong with it, but I'm gonna show you something. So like I said, the name didn't divide us. Our ministry never divided from other believers in Messiah based upon their understanding or lack of understanding on the name. Never. My whole 40 years, my father never disannulled himself from unifying because of that. However, these are talking about leaders. So if they want to unify, there has to be a sit down to come to some understanding if one is speaking in ignorance, lack of knowledge, or just belief or knowledge. And by that time that happens, one might say, well, I'm not convinced yet, but I'm open. Then there's reason for still working stuff out. The reason together and uniting. But by the time you find out that they're adulterous, they believe that Messiah's mama was adulterer, the Holy Spirit has sex with Mary's stupid stuff. Joseph is the daddy. We done, right? We done. By the time you are promoting multiple marriage, we done. At least this minute, not walking with that, because you about to bring fornication up in here. You're fornicating with your eyes already. We're not bringing that up in here. Nope. All right. So get to it. What do I have to say? So I hadn't heard this term. All of a sudden, I was in Israel all those years, and I came back to America, and all of a sudden, I started hearing this Yahu. And the first person that I believe that I heard the Yahuah from was Deborah Washman, but I didn't know who she was. Once again, I did not watch this lady's videos like that. I just thought she was some Christian that got wind of some Hebrew terminology. Didn't know what she was. She just passed through my feed one time before y'all had called me to do what I was doing. He was like, YouTube is where everything is happening now. Everybody was out the church. It was right. He was like, it's all on YouTube. I didn't even know about watching YouTube like that. That all started when I stayed with you. 2 years in your house. Otherwise, I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have barely. And he was like, and I was like, what? The first people that came on was the GOCC. They had like flooded the YouTube. I was like, where these people come from? Then I realized, because they wasn't camps. I knew the camps from the street from New York City, but I never heard of GOCC. Then I realized all that time I was going to Israel, there was like a whole new shift and a whole new movement of rebels of the camps and a new movement. And so GOCC was like different. Then I tried to research where they came from, because they was the only one that had the wilderness prophecy from the camps, right? Then I realized that the camps told on them, that the Rosicrucians approached them and governments approached them and funded them. They look for well speakers. I know this for a fact. For certain reasons, I just can't tell you everything I know, because I'm telling you that my own father was approached. He was approached by government 3 times over in his life, and he was approached by what's the term? Illuminati. I'm just use the word Illuminati for lack of a better term. Secret societies. I don't know. Yeah, secret society. He was approached these 3 times over. 2 I was aware of, and I was there when we gave our answer. And that last time was with you, because they had always been looking for people from every movement that are prolific speakers, that are slick, charismatic, and all of that, right? That can pull an audience, that speak in a certain kind of way to pull them in. And so this Ricard, he was one of them. I'm gonna show you that there's more. I told you that y'all had revealed to me, but it wasn't just the revelation that y'all had to reveal, like the government told you too, that there will be no leadership unless we make them. So I'm telling you that either they're going through college, educational, which is secret society too, alumni and all of that, right? Universities and PhDs and all of this kind of stuff. Fraternities. The church is a fraternity, y'all. By the time they go to seminary school, that's a fraternity. You take an underground oath, y'all. All these people that's coming out of that make it big, they've been chosen and funded for what they're doing. Or military, y'all. That's the other way they're getting the people, through military. Military. And they said that they would infiltrate all of our movements with military. Educated people and military. That's the first thing I look for. And how they got so much money so quick. And where are their roots? I'm very skeptical of people that served in the military, like, are proud of it type. I'm very skeptical if somebody had killed somebody in the military, they had to do anything psychologically about it. I'm very skeptical of people that went to college and had mental issues and had to go to a psychologist, because that's another way to find a Manchurian candidate. That's what I believe happened to that truth, what I edited, unveiled, that faggot one, the homosexual. The way he spoke let me know that something was in his mind. But I'm not speaking gossip, y'all. I know it through his own testimony that he revealed to someone who was staying with him, that he was hearing voices. And so it affirmed what I believe, the way he spoke, the way he would pick up so much information, that just information. All right, what am I saying? Let's get to it. I will cue this up at the bottom so you can push on by. Case file number 1442023 MNM-00000. The Yahu and Yahuah conspiracy. I'm here to tell you now, you've been lied to. You've been lied to. So here's the argument, and I might cut this up. Here's the main argument. The proof of Yahuah, right? I'm going to go through everything that you've been told to convince you that Yahuah is the name. And it's all through the grammar. It's all through grammar. So if you're going to stick to anybody that educated you on Yahuah's name through grammar, you owe it to yourself to don't remain a fool. And to even know, if you think I'm Satan speaking Satan's doctrine, to even know Satan's doctrine, because whatever I'm about to say, I promise you, is going to permeate to the real elect. The first dumb thing that you heard is what most people heard. Just Yahudah, right? Remove the D and bam, it's Yahuah. That's how we know. That's how we know. That was the first thing. And y'all realize how dumb that was. People talking about, you know, the language got rules and its roots to this, and you can't just do that. It don't work like that. No language works like that. And they're using their English. Most of this stuff is their English ideology, but they got smart, right? Just say Yahudah, remove the D, and bam, it's Yahuah. Now, all of you that think y'all got prolific teachers have already done that, but I'm going to show you that the very first teacher that brought you this doctrine, he used that too. All right, here's the other argument. I have done extensive research on the origins of the letter W, as in double U. There is no wah sound in the original Paleo Hebrew. So it is Yod Hey Awu or Uau Hey. You're going to hear them say that, but in the same breath, the sound not dumb, because it's going to cause you to when you say Yod Hey Awu Hey, isn't that going to cause you to be like, wait a minute? Yod Hey Uhe. What that sound like? Uhe Uhe Usle. Mama A Uhe. Remember everybody talking about that big Latin? It's a big Latin. Big Latin. I'm going to show you that's exactly what you're speaking. You turn the Yahweh's name into Pig Latin. Yod Hey Uhe. Something is going to go off in your mind that don't make sense if we are reading the alphabet. Y'all know that, right? Because that was just a vowel sound. You got a whole yod, hey, ooh, hey, don't make sense to anybody's alphabet except English. We're gonna learn, now I'm gonna educate y'all with some scholars, some linguistic scholars that y'all have been lied to. And this lie had permeated from other people's languages being lied about too, right? But this thing about Paleo Hebrew, and so remember that the young lady that commented on your thing, and we had re-quoted what she quoted. I found the quote. It wasn't even her quote. She had just copied and pasted somebody else's quote from Quora, like the same exact quote. I said, because I knew it by her, what's the name, Marks? Yes. Because I don't mind, just know what you're talking about, because I'm gonna quote some other people's quote too, and then I'm gonna prove how I know their quote is true. And then I had to say to her, or rewrite to her, if you really studied in the Hebrew, any honest person that studied Hebrew would not say vav hey. We would clearly say, why when it comes to saying the consonant, you're going to say vav instead of wa, because you want to remove the wa altogether. So they have come up with some scholarly research. We're going to talk about this, about the wa sound. That don't make sense. But then the same people that's going to promote uhe won't say it like that. They're going to say yod hey wah hey to switch you up from not understanding that what they're trying to promote don't even sound right. Yod hey uhe, uhe. All right. That's one of the arguments. We're going to talk about that. We're going to do more than talk about it. This is a learning lesson. You're going to be edified. We know it's Yahuah because the Hebrew names also have the suffix of what? Yahu. We're going to talk about that. You've been lied to. I read the Masoretic text. You've been lied to. And y'all already know what the Masoretes' agenda was. We're going to talk about it. The H at the end is expressing in the breath of ah. And there are other words that prove this, like ruach, that prove this. We're going to go into all the words that they're going into to try to prove this, and we're going to learn Hebrew grammar to understand that they don't know what they're talking about. And everybody that spewed that out came from ignorance. They were speaking from ignorance and somebody else's false scholarship. Okay. I know if you are somebody like Hadara, who follows the path of Yahuah, you're going to be like, I already know. She don't know what she's talking about. Keep listening. I'm about to show you that your leaders are hypocrites, thieves. They use the Yahuah as a marketing strategy, and they lie to you on purpose. I'm about to show you. All right. So those are the main arguments, and there's some sub-arguments, and we're going to deal with everything because you might be a Hebrew scholar by the time we finish with this, right? So we're going to deal with that today. Let me say it again. I might put this in the beginning to catch somebody with my long speech. Today, we're going to prove the proof of Yahuah. These are the arguments we're going to touch today. Just say Yehudah, remove the D, and bam, it's Yahuah. That's how we know. The other, I have done extensive research on the origins of the W, as in W in English, to the Germanic, to the French, to the Latin, back to the Hebrew, and there is no wa sound in the original Paleo Hebrew. So it is yod hey, uhe, or uahu hey. They can't even write it right. No, we know it's Yahuah because the Hebrew names also have the suffix Yahu. We're going to deal with that today. And the H at the end is expressing the breath. Ah, it's the breath of life. So it got to be a ah. And there are other words that prove this, like ruach, that proves this. We're going to go into all of this. I'm going to show you their disingenuine, lying, deceitful scholarship, knowing that you don't know any better. You really can't fact check them unless you already know the language. Okay? So these are all the variations that I know exist right now amongst niggerites. Not white people too, We got a lot of this from them, but some of them we've been authentic, because as much as the Hebrew language is actually a bastard form of the King's English, niggas are good at taking a messed up language and messing it up more. So this list has become so extensive, not because of the white man, but because of you, your ignorance of the white man's ignorance. All right. Variations and confusion. Yahweh's name, right? As in the tetragrammaton. We're not going to deal with Ahaya. I already proved that. You can go back to my lesson that the terminology is not Ahaya, it's Ehyeh. Asher Ehyeh. Ehyeh is a verb, it's not a name, but it is a phrase that is explaining Yahweh's essence, character, and nature. We have no problem with the term who he is, Ehyeh, Asher Ehyeh. That is what he is. That is not his name. His name is Yahweh. We'll go watch that. And I say that if you haven't watched my other lessons on the name, the almighty name, did Abraham know Yah's name? Knowing the rules of Hay and the Wav, go back to that, because then you're going to be able to follow on real good with this. All right. So we got Yahweh, Yeveh, Yehovah, Jehovah, Yahuah. Yahuah, Hebrew Roots movement use it. What's his name? Nehemiah Gordon has really tried to prove the Yehovah. And Yahuah is the Black non-Messianic camps in New York City. They have come up with Yahuah. Yahweh, right? The camps have also, the Messianic camps came up with Yahweh through the Lahashawan HaKadash foolishness that there's no vowels. Yahuah is the most recent bastard. We're going to talk about the history of Yahuah. How far does it go? Who started it? Who created it? And how did it get in the hands of this new awakening? Yahuah, that's Demona, which has branches all across America and other Black Pan-African movements. Yahuah, right? So you can know where somebody's roots is by what name they call. Yahuah. And now Demona has been playing with this term Yah. Yah. Instead of saying Yah. I don't know why they're doing it, but I've been hearing it in they stuff. And then with Yahushua, we got Yahshua. I don't have a problem with Yahshua. It is a short form of Yahushua, right? Yeshua. I got a problem with Yeshua. There's a rule that they don't understand about the Hebrew letters when it has, what do you call it? The two dots? The schwa. And you notice I haven't done no teachings about Yahushua yet. I'm going to get there. You got to get the Father's name first, right? I have a problem with Yeshua because they don't understand something about in the language with the schwa. That's the two dots that make a short sound, and they believe that is always a short e. That is not true. Yesha, got a problem with it. Yahusha, got a problem with it. That is the new awakening movement that also is coming with the Yahuah, that there's no O or W, or it's only a U sound. Yahusha, I got a problem with it. Yahushai, that's once again Yahushua is the Hebrew roots new awakening, Black now awakening movement. Yahushai is the camps. Yasha is other false leaders that's coming up, like Bet Tonya, Eshkadar, and stuff like that. Yashaya making which y'all know is Isaiah, his name, the name of the Messiah, or Yeezy. Y'all know Yeezy. That's Kanye West, the other false Messiah. Yes, Kanye West. That's what right. That's what we got. Unless I'm missing another bastard form of his name, let me know. But this, what? Yeshua, we got it right here. Oh, Yahu, yeah, that's yeah, Yahu. We go can't. I can't. All right. So pick your preference. Pick your preference. Let me move this out the way. Throughout the Masoretic text, 7 different forms of the name can be found in the Masoretic text. Now, we all know that the Masoretes have declared, they have not hidden, but you can't find it, that they have declared that all their work, they did what? They wanted to preserve the Hebrew language to help you keep the proper pronunciation. But in doing that, what else did they declare that they did? Hide the true pronunciation of his name. I want y'all to think about it. Because as we show what they pointed out, it could not be any one of those. If they have missioned themselves to hide his name, then whatever they're pointing to could not be it. Right? So throughout the Masoretic text, 7 different forms of the name can be found, each with its own pronunciation. That's right. I said 7 different forms. We can easily see, based on the information above, how the Masoretes would have desired or even felt compelled to hide the true vowel pointing of the name in place of the vowels that would have revealed the true pronunciation of the name, where placed vowels that one would find when pronouncing Adonai, as in Lord, or Elohim, Elohim, right? Here are the 7 different variations on the name. Now, you can go into how they came up with this, and they're using variations of the form of lihiot in the pu'al, pi'al, nif'al, and the hitpa'el forms, right? But this is not a verb. We're talking about a name. By the time they do that, it's just a verb, just like Ehyeh, right? So they got Yahuah, 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 right? In Genesis 3 and 14, if you go to the Masoretic text, that's how it's going to be pointed. They got Yahuah, Yahuah. Example found in Genesis 2 and 4 in the Masoretic text. You're not going to find this in your English or any one of your reprinted non-scholarly nigger Bibles. Yes, in the Masoretic text, right? And this is where you'll find the different pointings, right? The confusion. In Judges 6 and 28, they wrote, something happened, I missed the word. Yahuah, Yahuah, that's the O. Yahuah, Yahuah. That's in Judges 16 and 28. In Genesis 15 and 2, Yahuah, the same thing, Yahuah, right? In Genesis 15 and 2. In 1 Kings 2 and 26, in the Masoretic text, Yahuah, Yahuah, right? Yahuah, it's almost the same one. This is longer, Yahuah, and this is Yahuah, right? 1 Kings 2 and 26. In Ezekiel 24 and 24, it's Yahuah, Yahuah, right? Yahuah. And then we have in Psalms 144 and 15, Yahuah. That's the most common Miquadote pointing that you're going to find. Yahuah. This is what Demona took on from the Masoretic text. They sticking to it. They don't want to have another conversation. What can you do? They've been calling on Yahuah for over 40 years now, and they're united in Yahuah, even though they is wicked as hell. And they worship a man as Messiah and called him Abba Gadol, the great father, Ben Amin, the son of my people. That's another title of Yahweh, son, Yahushua, and the Messiah himself. They call him Moshienu HaRabbeinu. Everything that Yahushua told us, don't call any man. Okay? That's what divided. Mainly, but not mainly. They got wickedness going on. They don't keep Torah, y'all. All right. Alua. I'll tell you about the Alua. Somebody can sit up here and talk with me. You want to sit over here and talk with me? So y'all can go check that out. I didn't do that research myself. I depended on somebody else's research. I fact checked it. So after I fact check it, I don't need to rewrite it. It's right there. Right. And so that's in the Masoretic text. And I believe there may be actually more. Now, Before we go any further, I'm going to just get to the point. A lot of y'all scholarship is going off of the Masoretic text. The other is Gesenius, Hebrew grammar, not dictionary, Hebrew grammar book. I'm going to show you that all of this confusion is people that don't really know the language, picking up a 500-700 page book that is speaking on such a high level of grammar that his book cannot be understood completely unless you already are inside the language speaking it. His book does not speak to people outside the language. You're not going to understand what he's talking about, or you're going to confuse the rules, right? Hebrew is not as simple as you think. And so we have people that have picked up Gesenius' grammar book to make their argument. That's the root of all of this. Gesenius' book is the root, right? But Gesenius is also speaking from Masoretic texts. His studies comparing the Masoretic text to Arabic and Aramaic. That's what I want y'all to understand. Gesenius is not speaking from anything Paleo-Hebrew, ancient Paleo-Hebrew times, right? He's speaking what we call the modern Hebrew language today, which is the same thing as the ancient Hebrew language. The language, not the lettering. But y'all talk about the Aramaic text, the writing, as if it's not ancient. It's ancient, y'all. Y'all act like the white Jews made that writing up. No, what you see is professional fonts in an ancient Aramaic writing. That writing is ancient. Okay, so I'm going to show you something. Everything that y'all have learned is coming through the Masoretic's works. What I'm saying learn, I mean learn wrongly. Is coming through the Masoretic works, not even Gesenius. Y'all coming up with Yahuah, Yahuah, all of these other, Jehovah is misusing or removing information that Gesenius wrote. What y'all have misunderstood is the work of the Masoretes, which have declared that their work is to make sure you never pronounce the name right. They have gone through a lot of extensive work to mispoint you and confuse you on the name. So, introduction of the Masoretico critical edition of the Hebrew Bible. I'm going to be reading chapter 11, pages 387 through 96. This book is a compilation of work. I'm going to read you the guy that wrote it, that studied all the text and the Masoretic text to find out what they did, what they declared they changed, compared to original text, not the Masoretic text. All right. So before I read it, let's get some work. Yes, it's another white man. There's no information you want to show me that came from a black man. Now, when I say came from a black man, I know we're the author of truth in Messiah, but it was stolen from us. And I praise Yah that he even allowed somebody to hold it, because you would know nothing. Right? So, before I read it, I want to read from Wikipedia what I'm about to read and who wrote it. That's number one. People giving you information without giving you complete information, go back and fact check me. Everything that I'm going to show you today, you can fact check me, and I'm going to do it in such a way that it won't be difficult for you, right? Christian David Ginsburg. He's a Jew. All right. His work is before Gesenius, before all of y'all works. I want not Gesenius, but before all of these books that's coming out with scholars, right? Christian David Ginsburg, December 25th, 1831. Oh, he's not Satan's son, y'all, right? He's not Satan's son. To March, that's his birth, right? Was a Polish-born British Bible scholar. So number one, he was a Bible scholar, and a student of what? The Masoretic tradition in Judaism. So he knows all about the traditions and the works of the Masoretes. He was raised in it. He was born to a Jewish family in Warsaw, but converted to Christianity at the age of 15. So we know that he didn't live his life in Judaism, though he studied it, right? Coming to England shortly after the completion of his education in the rabbinic college. So he studied all the works of the rabbis, right? In Warsaw, Ginsburg continued his study in what? The Hebrew scriptures. That means he knows Hebrew. He's a Hebrew scholar, with particularly attention to the Megillot, right? The Megillot is, as they say here, the 5 scrolls or the 5 Megillot are part of the Ketuvim writings. The third major section of the Tanakh. The 5 scrolls are the Songs of Solomon, the Book of Ruth, the Lamentation, Ecclesiastics, Esther. These 5 relatively short books, that's what it is, all right? The first result was a translation of the Songs of Solomon with a historical and critical commentary published in 1857. A similar interpretation of Ecclesiastes, followed by treaties of the Karaites. The Karaites is another sect of Jews here that do not follow the rabbinic traditions. The Karaite traditions follow another character. This is what Nehemiah Gordon is from. They follow another calendar. The way they keep Torah is a little different, more like the Masoretes as far as tradition of the Torah, but not rabbinical. And they don't say, but they do say Adonai, but they have another version of his name, right? The Essenes, the Karaite Jews, which still exist in Israel today, right? Nehemiah Gordon is coming from the Karaite Jews, right? The Essenes, right? Y'all put Essenes all in the box. All the Essenes weren't the same. And the Kabbalah, right? So we know this is the Kabbalah, the ultra secret Orthodox. Kept authority prominently before biblical students while he was preparing the first sections of the Magnum Opus, the critical study of the Masura. Let's help y'all out. The Masura text is the authoritative Hebrew and Aramaic text of the 24 books of the Hebrew Bible Tanakh in Rabbinic Judaism. The Masoretic text, that's what it is. So he is studied and critical studied the Masoretic text, right? The Masoretic text defines the Jewish canon as precise letter text with its vocalization and accentuation known as the Masorah, right? That's where they got Masoretim, which means traditions, right? Do I want to read all? Yes, I do. Beginning in 1867, with the publication of Jacob ben Haim Ibn Adonijah's introduction to the Rabbinic Bible, Hebrew and English with notices, and the Masoretic HaMasoret of Elias Levita in Hebrew with traditional and commentary, Ginsburg took rank as an eminent Hebrew scholar. In 1870, he was appointed one of the first members of the committee of the English version of the Old Testament, under contract with the Trinitarian Bible Society. His life work culminated in the publication of the Masorah in 3 volumes, 1880 and 1886, followed by the Masoretic critical edition of the Hebrew Bible, 1894, and the elaborate introduction to it in 1897. So you could read the rest. I'm not hiding anything. Basically, this is the book that I'm about to read, and it's a compilation of all his work known and studied about the works of the Masoretes, what they changed in the script. This really, at the end of the day, is the end of the argument, but y'all are too ignorant to even hear that I'm going to have to go through the foolish argument and where they getting their argument from and come back to the Gasenius and all of this stuff, right? All right. So let's read. I am in the introduction of the Masoretic critical edition of the Hebrew Bible. And once again, I have not read all this book. You can see it's a lot of pages. I believe, how many pages is it?
400.
over 400 pages. That's a lot of reading, right? But I've been able to dig out with the help of my students who understand and teach and read and research Hebrew to be efficient in it. They have found this, and now they read one verse or one page, but we're going to read all four. I want y'all to understand this very clearly. It's the whole chapter on this. It's the end and the beginning, and he's clearly telling you what the Masoretic people added to the word that y'all still claiming is the truth. The Masoretes added in lieu of hiding the name. Now, this Bible, this book, he's still using, how do I say, the false name, because it seems like he's taking the oath too. But even though he's using the false name, it may be very well so he could have got it published, pointing you to the falseness of it. I don't know if that makes any sense. He's pointing you to the falsehood of it while he's using another false name. And that could be a tactic to get the truth out because they wanted to hide it so much. And you got to understand that who's behind a lot of these publications, right? All right. I'm starting at 386. This is a lot of reading for me, so I might have to take a breath or two. I'm sorry. Can I open it more? And I'm starting from page 386, chapter 10. That's not 10, that's chapter 11. Okay. Reading in the margin by detaching moreover Yah from Markav, and by needlessly transferring it to the end of the beginning of the line, they are obliged to assume that we have here a constructio pregnans and to supply. So I'm not reading that. The word and set me, which mar the parallelism. Okay, that's the point he's making before that, but we're going to keep on going. Songs of Solomon, owing the same reluctance to exhibit the shorter name of Yahweh, I'm just going to say Yahweh, the Western school of textual critics whom we follow in the Textus Receptus read Shal Have Teya, right? So he's pointing out something about the short form of Yahweh. Reads Shal, I think that's a Shal He Veteya, right? In one word, which is explained to mean intense flame, or as the authorized version renders it, which has the most vehement flame. In the recension from which the Septuagint was made, these consonants were also read as one word, and they were pronounced Shelahavu Teya, right? So he's telling, this is the Septuagint in the Greek. He's saying that this is the change, right? There was a change from Yah to Te'ah, right? I want y'all to remember this ha with an ah, right? This is what the Septuagint is saying. According to the Eastern recension, however, which is also the reading of Ben Naphtali and several early editions, it is Shalhe Bat Yah. So this is them playing with it so that you would pronounce it slightly different versus Yah versus Te'ah, right? Te'ah versus shortening and pulling out Yah clearly, right? Yah, the flame of Yahweh. And the whole verse is to be rendered, for love is strong and deaf, affection as inexorable as Hades. Its flames are flames of fire, the flames of Yahweh. That's how it should be written. Not like this and not like that. This is their word to, how do I say, run Yah into everything, right? To just run it together so you can't distinguish it and get the true meaning, right? Intense flames is not the same as the flames of Yahweh. And that also changes the doctrine that hell fire is his fire, not Satan's, right? All right. He's showing you what the Septuagint from the Masoretic text did, what it should have been. that is loving flames kindled in the human heart emanate from Yahweh. The anxiety, however, now, man, I teach this lesson about the fire of Yah, that is, it can consume you or it can heal you, right? However, on the part of suffering, not to describe Yahweh as the source of human love, and especially not to exhibit him in parallelism with Hades. That's the point. They want to separate him, his power. That's part of knowing his name and his character, right? Messing with his name like that with other words, right? He caused the Western redactors of the text to obliterate the name of Yahweh in the only place where the divine name occurs in this book. The revised version, through contrary to the Textus Receptus, exhibits the true reading in the text and gives the alternative translation in the margin. We have seen that in the case of proper names which are compounded with the tetragrammaton. Now we're going to get to the Yahu thing, right? He said that what they just did, they did it another way with compounding Yah's name with proper names, right? I'm going to read it again. We have seen that in the case of proper names, which are compounded with the tetragrammaton, and where it begins the name, the Hey, H, has been elided to preclude the pronunciation of the divine name for the same reason, right? What does it mean to be elided? I believe to cause to be silent in its pronunciation, something like that. Look up the word elided. Elided. It's not that they're moving the letter, but they're changing elided. Omit when speaking. So they wrote it in a way that it would wind up becoming silent when you're speaking it, right? All right, let's see what he's talking about. Page 387. Yah, the shorter form of Yahweh, has been safeguarded in those proper, so he said, for the same reason, let me get the whole set. For the same reason, Yah, the shorter form of Yahweh, has been safeguarded in those proper names into which it has entered into composition and where it constitutes the end of the proper name. To affect this, how did they affect this? The redactors of the text have adopted the reverse process. So instead of compounding, separating Yah distinct from the rest of the word, they did something else. He said they did the reverse process to remove the clarity of Yah out your mouth. Instead of eliding a letter, as in the Hey, from the earlier text, they added one and converted the monosyllabic divine name into a bisyllabic word. What did he just say? Y'all could take that and do a 2-minute and spread that all over. What they did was they added another letter so that the short version of Yah's name, which is one syllable, Yah, would become 2 syllables, right? Yeah, it throws off your pronunciation because there's power in the clarity of what it is, right? What did they do? The 141 proper names in the Hebrew Bible, 141 names, y'all, in the Hebrew Bible, which according to the Masoretic text, end with Yah, as in Yahweh, are divisible into 3 classes. One, the first consists of 59 names, which have in many instances the Wah appended to them so that they respectively occur in duplicate form, sometimes terminating in Yah and sometimes in Yahu. They are as follows. So he's saying that they took 41 names out of the 150 something names, right? And these names, they left one time with Yah, with the proper ending, and many other times they added it. And I would suspect that they did it because they couldn't terminate Yah altogether. They just wanted to confuse you, right? It's confusion. So He says they appended to them so that they respectively occur in duplicate form, sometimes terminating the Yah and sometimes in Yahu. He's saying that the term at the end of proper names Yahu did not exist. They added it so that you could never just say Yah clearly by itself. They are as follows. Watch this. Abiyah, Abiyah, right? Whose father is Yah. They translated it in one time as Abiyahu. Yeah, y'all all hear Yahoo crap, man. Yahoo this, Yahoo that, right? Adonijah, right? In these verses, they translated it as Adoniyahu, Adoniyahu. Uriah as Urayahu. Azariah as Azayahu. Ahiyah as Ahiyahu. The Yahu conspiracy. This is what the Masorites did, so you couldn't call out the power, right? You already the Yahu, and my father came in and said, Yahu what? Yahuah. Yahu what? Right? Elijah, Eliyahu. I'm already defeating the argument, because when I show you the root of everybody's argument, that's one of them. That's the main one. Yahu, right? Amazayahu, right? It makes the Yah short, Yahu. Uh-huh. Can you say something? Sure, you can say something. In the mic, she's congested, but somebody wants to, and y'all are all free to come up here and say something. Everybody need to say something.
So, as I'm looking at this, I feel like I've seen a doctored registry of like, because this is where they also try to pull information and say that the slaves were descendants, right? And if you look at some of their registry, I've seen it. They've had actual paperwork that says that somebody's name was, I don't know, say Timothy Yahu. Like it, but they'll doctor it up,
yes,
and use it like this,
like Yahu. Yes, Yahu. You might have heard of Yah. You ain't no damn Yahu. Yeah. Amaria, Yahu, Benaiah, Benayahu, Barakya, Yahu. Sorry, I'm burping over here. Gedaliah, Gedaliahu, Gamariah, Gamariahu, Deliah, Deliahu, Hodawaya, Hodawaya, Hodawayahu, Zabadyahu. Okay, he giving the categories where they let it go and then they added it. Why would they do that? It's to confuse you, but what is the confusion in it? That it can be either or. That's saying Yahu was legit, right? We still on that those 41 names. Zachariah, Zachariahu, Hezekiah. I'm reading the Hebrew, y'all. That's why I said I'm not reading the English. Hezekiah. No, it's Hezekiah. Hezekiahu. That's not even Hez. I'm sorry. Hezekiah. Hezekiahu. That's what it is. Hilkiah. Hilkiyahu. Hananiah. Hananyahu. Kashbia, Kashbeyahu, Tovia, Tobiyahu, Yaazneya, Yaazneyahu. I'm on page 390. Yoshaya, Yoshiyahu. Trying to scroll down. Hold on. Why is it not scrolling? Sorry about that. I have to minimize it and open it back up to scroll properly. It's going past where I want. So I believe I was here. Yezaneya. Yezaneyahu. Yehizkiah. Yehizkiah. Yehizkiyahu. I gotta do it slow. Sorry, y'all. Yebalia. No, I'm sorry. What is that? Yekalia. Yekalyahu. Yekaniya. Yekaniyahu. Yeriya. Yeriyahu. Yermiya. Yermeya. Yermiyahu. Yermiyahu. Moving on. Page 391. Yeshiyah. Yeshiyahu. Yeshmaya. Yeshmaya. Yeshmayahu. Yeshmeah. Yeshaya. Yeshayahu. There's an extra iron in there. Kenaneya. Kenaneyahu. I'm sorry, Kenanya. Kenanyahu. Mikaya. Mikayahu. Mikayehu. 2 versions, right? Okay, 3 versions. Malkiya. Malkiyahu. Going down. Maazeya. Maazeyahu. Maasiya. Maasiyah Seyahu. Meshelemya. Meshelemeyahu. Matanya. Matanyahu. Some of these you can recognize, some of you don't. I'm on page 392. I'll read them all. The Yahu conspiracy. The Masoretic lie. There was no name ever in the Hebrew language that ended with Yahu. Matit Yahu. Matit Te Yahu. Neriya. Neriyahu. Netanya. Netanyahu. Remember that because I'm going to show you your first teacher in the Black community that spread this lie. Ovadia. Ovadiahu. Adiya. Adiyahu. Uzziya. Uzziyahu. Azreya. Azreyahu. Ataliya. Ataliya. That's partly my name. Atalyahu, Padilla, Padayahu, Palatia, Palateyahu. I mean, these things got 5 syllables. It's ridiculous. Sadiqia, Sadiqiyahu, Safanya, Safanyahu. Rakavia, Rakaviyahu, Saraya, Sarayahu, Shebaniah, Shebanayahu, Shakania, Shakanyahu, Shalamayahu, Yahu. Shemaiah, Shemayahu, Shmarayahu, Safatia, Yahoo. I'm tired of Yahoo. Ain't y'all sick of the Yahoo people? It's the Masoretic deception to hide Yah name. Both in the authorized version and so those were those names. Both in the authorized version and the revised version, the distinction between these two forms of the same name is entirely obliterated. By ignoring the last syllable and by transliterating both forms alike, the translators have deprived the students of the means to ascertain how far the process of safeguarding the name Yahweh or Yah has been carried out in the different books. So once again, I said, why would they do that? They didn't take away the Yah. They put an extra one there so you couldn't figure out what they changed. All right, it's to confuse you on what is and what isn't. The second class consists of proper names compounded with Yah, which have uniformly been lengthened into Yahu. Of these, we have the following 11 examples. So these 11 names is where they didn't put Yah at all. They just gonna make it Yahu. So it would lead by majority because we are group sheeple, group think, group taint, led by the masses, man pleasing. By the time you see most names as Yahu and a few names as that, you will decide what? It's Yahu. That the other one is the short version of Yahu. All right. Azal Yahu. Buki Yahu. Yeverek Yahu. Ooh, it's hard to read this. Yigdal Yahu. Yeted Yahu. No, Yeched Yanu. Yeched Yanu. Kane Yahu. Kananeyahu. Kananiyahu. Mekniyahu. Mekneyahu. Samakiyahu. Samakia, okay. Azazyahu. Excuse me. Remalyahu. I'm going to show you that some of these names are some of the names that the first Black conspirator in the Yahu movement used for the argument. Right? Okay. It will be seen, it will be seen that with the exception of the last name, all the others are of infrequent occurrences. It is probably due to this fact that the process of uniformity has been successfully carried out by the redactors of the text. Here again, both the authorized version and the revised version have taken no notice, whatever that these names end in Yahu, and have transliterated them as if they terminated in Yah. So he's talking about the first they didn't take no account which one is which. What is he saying? He's saying what he's saying. This is what he's saying. The third classes consist of the names compounded with the divine name Yah, which the redactors of the text have not attempted to safeguard by converting the ending into Yahu. There are no fewer than 72 such proper names which have retained their primitive orthography, and as they have not undergone any change, I need not enumerate them. So let me take back my statement. It's actually more of the proper, the original, than that. But once again, it confuses you to think that it's okay. So he's not going to mention the other 72. If you want to do your research, there it is. Go do that. It's not worth it. We know that it shouldn't be nothing with a Yahu at the end of it. And I always thought about this. I'd be like, I never understood why the Hebrew language allowed that. It didn't make sense to me. All they can be like is who, but it doesn't mean who, right? The who in the end doesn't mean who as in he, because it's in the name, right? This, however, is not the only way in which the redactors of the text guarded against the pronunciation of the abbreviated form of the tetragrammaton. Instead of adding a syllable, they often deleted the hey altogether or substituted another letter for it. That's what we just read. Thus, Abiyah, which is sometimes lengthened to Abiyahu, has the letter hey dropped altogether and is abbreviated into Abi, right? This is evident from the comparison of Chronicles 29, I think, with 2 Kings 18, where the mother of Hezekiah is called by two apparently contradictory names in these two passages. Another example, Yishmerai, in Chronicles 8, oh, it gives you the number right there, is now acknowledged to stand for Yishmaria, kept by Yahweh. Not only has the hey here been elided, which deprives the last syllable of the divine name. He's talking about in this, Yishmereh, as opposed to Yishmaria, which deprives the last syllable of the divine name Yah, but the vowel points have been adopted to this altered form. Exactly the same process has been adopted in Ezra 10, whereas Ma'adai simply exhibits an altered form of Ma'adeya, ornament of Yah, which occurs in Nehemiah 12. And in the name Matne, this name which occurs 3 times, Ezra 10, is that the chapter in 37? I'm not, yeah, Nehemiah 12 and 19 is simply an abbreviated form of Matanya, gift of Yah, with the divine name Yah obliterated. Obadiah, worshiper of Yah, which has in several places been altered into Obadiahu, and which occurs in its original orthography. I want y'all to understand these terms. Maybe y'all don't know. Orthography means the original sound it makes. I want y'all to understand these words because I'm going to show you where they are playing on your ignorance on these words. Orthography, they're using other big terms that you are not understanding, whether it's distinguishing between the writing or the sound, right? Pictography, orthography. We're going to remember these words. The orthography means the original sound, not writing, original sound. In 1 Chronicles 9 and 16, as the descendant of the Levites is spelled Avda, Avda, servant. In Nehemiah 11 and 17, though it's described as the identical person, the same is the case with Shemaiah, heard of Yah, a son of Galal, who is mentioned in the list of the Levites in 1 Chronicles 9 and 16. 9 and 16, whilst in the list in Nehemiah 11 and 17, the name of his son of Galal is spelled Shma'uah, heard with the monosyllabic Yah, right? So they changed it Shma'uah. So what was it supposed to be? Is he giving it? Oh, it's supposed to be Shmaya. Shmaya and Shma'uah. Ooh, they would use that and be like, see? Right? Even though that's not the same as iron at the end. Entirely gone. Such was the anxiety to safeguard the Tetragrammaton. The extent to which the process of undefying Yah has been carried, and the effect it had upon the redaction of the Hebrew text may be judged from the fact that the ancient authorities went so far as to take it in the sense of the Greek interjection, eo, or eu, or eu. This is what they get in the the Yahuah, that they interjected that and regarded it as an exclamation of sorrow and pain. Thus, the Midrash Rabbi on Genesis, what is that? What's L? 63. Thank you, Mom. She's old school. She's ancient. 63 and 14. Remarks as follows. I want y'all to remember that because I saw people studying this. They trying to say this is the W. Actually, this is the O sound, but it actually can be used as a W, but it does the U and the O. And this is the EU. EO. Yes, right there. Right. So I want to read this again. They have what? Messed up. That's my to the extent to which this process of undeifying Yah has been carried, and the effect it had upon the redaction of the Hebrew text may be judged from the fact that the ancient authorities went so far as to take it in the sense of the Greek interjection. Yeah, the Masoretics, EU or yo, right? And regarded it as an exclamation of sorrow and pain. Thus, the Midrash Rabbi on Genesis 63 and 14 remarks as follows. Our Fina said in the name of our Hoshea, it is not said here, blessed is the man who thou chastisest, O Yahweh, but blessed is the man whom thou chastisest, O Yahweh. That is just as one who is sentenced by the judge cries out in his pain and says, you, enough. Like ow, yes. Yow. All right, so they knew that this was a blasphemy. That so the fact that they translated, they made that like a mockery. Enough. So Jacob said, he who will say of the suffering, it is enough, will also say, my suffering is enough. That's where they get the Dayenu song from. That's interesting. Because it is said, Almighty, give you mercy before the man. All right. But that's rabbinical stuff. Who cares? All right. The ancient redactors of the text have also tried to safeguard the other divine names, notably Elohim. I believe that I'm stopping here. What page was that? 396. I believe that's where I was stopping. 396. Okay. All right. We'll get into Elohim later. That's a whole nother topic because we got people saying El is the Canaanite deity. Elohim is a Canaanite god. All right. And this is foolishness. All right. So we've read that. That really could be the beginning and the end of the argument with the Yahu stuff. But that doesn't prove whether it is Yahuwah versus Yahweh or Yahuah, right? We know now that the Masoretes really wanted to protect the short form and keep it out of people's mouths quite like that, so much that they put the Yahu there, Yahu, right? But that's one of the main arguments of your leaders that got the argument from false white deceptors. All right, give me a second. Okay, can you ask your question? Yes. So while she's coming up to ask her question, we just got finished reading the introduction of the Masoretical critical edition of the Hebrew Bible by a scholar who is studied in these matters to point out all the doings, what the Masoretes did to protect you from calling upon the holy name of Yah correctly, to redact his name, to just modify it just a little bit, to confuse you, never to get to the real full pronunciation. And I just read chapters 11, pages 387 and 398. I will try to remember to put the link in the box so you can go and check out this book, read it yourself. And those of you that are convinced and have a message board yourself to evangel, you can evangel what you've learned and spread that truth out. And I give you the permission to evangel that truth. Please do it. So your question.
So my question was that many of the false teachers out there portray the Masoret as doing something negative to us in terms of the way that they have dealt with the language, with the iniquities and all. Is that true?
Well, you say false teachers. I'm saying it's not a matter of a false teacher or not. They have betrayed those that are holy namers. Let's put it like this. Those that understand the commandment of Yah, but see, regardless of their excuse, regardless of what they say they intended, that their work was deceptive work to hide the name of Yah, that they didn't have a right to do that. Regardless if they thought we were holy or not, there's no such commandment to say thou shalt not pronounce the name of Yah. There's no commandment that says his name is too holy to be. That's like saying you can't put him in a box. But Yah didn't. What are you saying? Where do you get that from? Right? Why you can't put Yahweh's name in a box? You could put a letter on each side. Yod, He, Wahe. It's clear. Who says you can't pronounce his name? He never said that. He said, those who call upon my name depart from iniquity. It's a twofold commandment. So Satan does good things with bad intentions and does bad things with good intentions. This is the lesson. Go back to my lesson on calling good evil and evil good. So whether the Masoretes say they had good intentions, they say that they wanted to protect the holy name of Yah. But if what they did goes against what Yah said, all their good explanation and intention to protect Yah's name was really a plan of Satan to do what? Hide it, confuse us. So the power of Yah's name could never be achieved or realized. That's the claim. They say they did it for good reasons. We say the devil did it for good reasons. Okay. All right. Moving forward. All right. The conspiracy goes far. I've been researching and I'm like, yeah, where did this name? I mean, we were fighting Jehovah for the longest time, right? We was fighting Jehovah for so long. And the Yahuah, we wasn't really fighting with them because I was like, all right, you close, but Y'all, come on, be honest with the language. Y'all know that's the female version of the name. Like, why y'all playing? Well, the Masoretes pointed it. I just showed you. They gonna stop at all y'all stopping at the Masoretes. I traced the roots of the beginning of the argument and those that spread the name of Yahuah to the whole awakening. Now, I'm tracing it back to the first Black people that created or founded or used, let me say used and manipulated the new awakening for money. This was going to be a big trend, and it didn't start with us, y'all. I'm gonna tell you real quick, but I'm gonna do another lesson on the trail. This person, don't take Yahuwah's name in vain. That was the lesson. And his page, I don't care. Oh, y'all can go back to him, but he's disappeared. Almost you can't barely find out with him. He's linked with the path of Yahuwah. So at one point, I would have thought he was the leader, but it looked like him and the path of Lamaja who linked up together and unified on this, right? But I'm about to show you where all his information came from. He stole it, right? I want y'all to look at the dates. He calls himself Moreh Madad Yahu. Moreh, he calls himself a Moreh, a prophet, and an overseer of My Living Branch. And on October 22, 2011, don't take the name of Yahuwah in vain, was the first time, at least on the internet, that is spread across the internet, alongside of the path of Yahuwah. Let me go there. The path of Yahuwah under Lamore Lamajahu, right? They have linked together. They was a part of this together. Now I'm going to use Lamajahu and this Moreh as my backdrop to everything that I'm about to say, because when I do that, I'm going to show you that they stole. They didn't do no research, y'all. I found, he's reading from a paper here, and he took this offline. You probably have to go register. His operation is so closed, y'all. He does have stuff online. He don't show his face anymore. He branched out. They saw this whole new awakening. And for the life of me, I was trying to figure out who was the center of the octopus. And I say Deborah Washman was the mother-hearted of the new awakening. But I'm about to tell you that these two people was behind also the scenes, right, of the Yahuwah movement. Not necessarily the new awakening, but everybody led with identity. And then the Yahuwah thing was also interjected in identity, right? 2011, that was 12 years ago, right? That's 11 years ago, about 11 years ago. Now, I can't figure out, I have this video. I had this video from 6 years ago, because I was trying to chase this, trace who is teaching this foolishness about the Hebrew language. Had no idea who this guy was. To this day, I never mentioned him, but I always had him lined up. That's why you're not going to find this video anymore. I got it because I had pulled it down 6 years ago. Y'all think I'm short, that I be just now finding out about this stuff. No, I'm patient when Yah says, because I had to go down this rabbit trail. These two are linked up right here, right? They're linked up. And Lamajahu came on the path of the YouTube spreading this. Now, he was underground, obviously, spreading this through social media. Now, what I know about Lamajahu, I've never met this man personally, either of them, but I did hear about Lamajahu because my sister also lives in Israel, and she's all over line with brothers and stuff like that from different paths and different walks. And this Lamajahu and another brother, this tall, big, giant looking guy from California, I forget his name, was friends with my sister online. So they would come up and visit Israel, right? They was visiting Israel. They visit often, this group of brothers. It'd be like a handful of them. They go down to Demona. Everybody stop at Demona, and you'd be surprised they're making affiliations and secret oaths with Demona, never to cross them or get funding from them to do their bidding, right? But there's groups, there's offshoots of, rebels from Demona that's doing their own thing. in Ashkelon. And then there was my father's, I'm gonna say family for the lack of a better word, that had nothing to do with that. We had our own thing, and then people just come into, and a lot of other people that's coming from all walks, right? He came to Israel. What do I know about him? I say again, I never met him personally, but there were some people on my board that came out of his ministry and gave me reports about some of the craziness. And I got one person here, she could speak to it. And there was people on my board that saying he's throwing so much information out there, but he keeps changing his doctrine, like literally every some months. He's changing the doctrine, and his doctrine is going so far with scholarly stuff that is way like it's becoming idol worship. That like it's getting off the Bible. And he came up and he visited my sister's birthday party. And so I think my sister was closer with the big tall guy. I'll show you a picture. This guy right here. Right. I think I spoke to him one time on the phone, but by that time, me and my sister, I had separated from all that, and I ain't never got to meet the brothers personally. So they came up, and they whoremongers, y'all. They whoremongers. They whoremongers. I'm not gonna speak for all of them, but he certainly is, right? And it was my sister's birthday, so she was doing her birthday thing like the world. And I saw it because he came to her birthday. He was like, "Can we come? Can I bring a couple of brothers?" Right? They wanted to hang out with sexy sisters and my niece. And the pictures was up on my sister's face. Y'all can go look it up. I don't know if it's still up there, but I saw the video, and they were just all standing around while they was whining reggae on the floor. My sister had to split all the way up, and they was just, ooh, and so, right? But my sister did tell me about it. She said, yeah, this nigga so intelligent, he's stupid. She said he a player and he's smooth, right? He's a Machiavelli. He's a Machiavelli. And she said he was cool though. He's very impressionable, but he's stupid. And I told y'all that I told my sister, well, this brother is around here like messing up the Hebrew language and saying everything is with ooh. And she was like, yeah, this nigga don't speak no Hebrew. He tried, and then he realized that first of all, he didn't understand nothing we were saying. And he didn't even try. We were speaking, they speak fluently, like homeborn already. That he didn't even attempt. He just sat there like this, right? But whatever he was talking, she said, yeah, he's so stupid. He's so smart that he smarts himself he's out of truth. That was her comment to me. My sister's perceptive, except about her own wickedness. And that was the end of that. I think these brothers come up quite often to Israel. And then I had heard from some other people about him that he was trying, no, he never taught the come out message, but he was trying to find a way for him and his crew to stay in Israel and stay there. Now, he was up in Jerusalem talking to rabbis. He has his hands linked. And then my sister also told me, because she spoke, that they ex-military, they military brats. That's what she said. Now, I don't know, all right? I'm not speaking emphatically. I'm telling you what she told me about her interaction is what I remember, that she said that they were ex-military brats. Right, they had all came out the military. That was red flag for me. And he got really big real quick underground, really quick. And in order to get into his assembly, you got to get online, register, and pay. Like this is all money. And what we discovered is that they wrote a book. Can you come sit up here with me, please? This is somebody who was coming from underneath their ministry. Can I get my phone? Do you need it?
For the book, yeah.
You don't remember the name of the book?
Yahu Torah.
Yahuah Torah. They wrote their own Yahuah Torah. All right. This I'm gonna show you the devil behind all of this, right? This new awakening, actually, they call the Great Awakening, was a term that was stolen from the white Hebrew roots movement. They called it the Great Awakening. I'm gonna prove all of this to you, that all we did was mimic what they was doing off of zeal and jealousy. The Hebrew roots movement was a fairly new movement. It's not as new as the New Awakening Black movement, but it was a new movement that been around for some time though. And they also was coming to the name of Yahweh. The Hebrew roots movement is affiliated with the rabbinical councils in Israel. A lot of their leaders come to Israel and get knowledge and information in the Hebrew roots movement from other rabbis that have interfaith programs. The Jewish community and the state of Israel has always been doing this, but I believe that they're going to bring it out now. They're going to open it up where they're accepting the Hebrew roots movement as a part of the Jewish state. The Hebrew roots movement was called the Great Awakening, and it's been around for some time. They all recognized they were coming out of using Lord God. They were still doing that. Some of them were saying Yehovah, but some of them, through scholarship, was coming back to the name Yahweh. Most of them use Yahweh. But if they are affiliated underneath a council or they're getting financial aid through the Christian outreach movement in Israel, they are all ordered not to dispense certain truths. So there was 2 Hebrew roots movements that had got infiltrated by false scholarship to put out information to get them, not us necessarily, but they knew it would trickle down to us because all our information comes from what they're doing, to get them to remove themselves from pronouncing Yahweh's name. This is still Israel's agenda for no one to pronounce his name. I don't know why y'all don't understand that. But the Hebrew roots movement have been calling on the name of Yah. And once they come to Israel, they come back, they stop using Yahweh. They start going to Yehovah, Yahuah. And now this new thing was Yahuwah. Why am I saying this? Because this whole presentation, and we're going to go through his presentation, and his presentation, which was half-baked, is the same argument that I'm going to prove because it's written by the authors of this lie. Okay, so I'm going to give you the names, but we're going to do another one because this is going to be lengthy. So they started 11 years spreading. They had a, say it again, Yahuah Bible. Okay, so this is all about selling books. This is the money making. Jediah was the last fool that did it. He's going to hell for it, and so are they. This is all about editing books and making books real, because it's no work. You don't really have to write nothing. All you got to do is get the transcript and put it into an editing process, change certain fonts, and edit out Yahweh's name to what you want it. Yes, AI all over the place. Even some of your leaders that have no faces, like Truth Unedited, all of his work is stolen messages, y'all. His work, that's why it reads like a storyline. He takes other people's messages and puts it through the AI. You can put like 2 or 3 and get a combined message and rewrite it for you and reread it, put your little own effort into it. And it sounds like you done did the most amazing study. Yeah, it's real quick. That's why you see them coming out with these quick messages like that. Real efficient, and it's short spoken too. The AI is doing it. Right? It's all money making, y'all. It's all a lot. It's all money, easy money. So the scheme with these 2 was books. They are making money. He's sitting in the background. He don't have to do the work. They don't really want an online presence. You got to go into the underground to get to them now, right? But they got umbrellas. They got umbrellas in this whole movement underground, right? They have,
Bring it out.
Right? So once again, 2011 in the path of Yahuah, he's from what I learned 6 years ago to 11 years, Lamad. Yes, they came out. This is the roots of the Yahuah doctrine. This is the culprits, right? I'm sorry, these are the culprits. Now we're going to use them. Now, Deborah Watchman, Yahu and Deborah Watchman. They're the other culprits. It's a conspiracy about selling books and making money, right? They call themselves the online ministry church, right? They keep changing their name. How often do they go back and look at their record? I tried to show you that they change their names every years once stuff stopped working, right? Once their money started going down. He's a businessman. He's a salesman, right? Now, they didn't write their own book. They just got the Yahuah necklaces for their children. And yes, they did a whole lot. They got a lot to sell you. But if you look, even to very now, the Sefer came out. The Sefer took hold of the whole New Awakening in 2012. The Sefer by Stephen Pidgeon was marketed and it was published by 2014. And so I was at a standstill because when I found out about these two, I was like, what? This was before the Sefer. They were before the Sefer, right? So y'all had busted it open. I'm gonna tell you who I'm gonna show you. I'm not just gonna I'm gonna show you y'all. Just wait. I'm gonna let you hear his argument and I'm gonna show you who they stole it from. And then they realized that this was gonna be a big movement from the underground of the Hebrew Roots Awakening to the new Black Hebrew Israelite Awakening. And everybody was gonna look for a book to take Lord and God out their mouth. The money maker was to retranscript a book with Yahuah in it. They are making, and they made children's books. The whole Yahuah movement want this. You don't even have to be a part of his ministry, right? It's about selling you something. So they got books upon books in Yahuwah's name, right? This is their money-making scheme. The Boer Watchmen took the same argument. I'm going to show you that they funneled down the same argument. I'm going to let you hear some of this, maybe not all today. And they came out, their ministry started 11 years ago. 11 years ago, y'all. All of this started 11 years ago, right? Online ministry, they started 11 years ago, but if you look at their first videos, they did not claim any name. They said the Most High or Abba Yah. But the fact that he called his name Yahu already showed you that he was on that tip, right? And then 9 years, right? This is the one right here. 9 years ago, he came out, what is the name? Jehovah, Yahweh, Yahweh. And he had Yahuwah. Look at how he spells it. The W. Jesus, Yeshua, Yahuah Shai. And we're going to hear his argument because I'm going to show you where he got his exact argument. They all thieves, y'all. They're all thieves. You're going to know where they all got their argument from. Then he came out to declare the same year that the Sefer came out. 9 years ago. But you can see on their marketing that if you buy the Sefer through them, and that's how the Sefer got big, y'all get 10%. That means they got a cut or they got a stock in the in that book. It's all a scheme. It's about making money. And then Jediah, when he couldn't get no money through his work, because he was broke. I noticed from my cousin that he was broke. Casita was taking care of him. She's retired school teacher now. And he stole her house, put it in his name. It's his house now. Now he making money by doing the same thing. He said, I'm gonna get smart. I'm gonna rewrite the book and I'm gonna put Yahuwah in it. I'm gonna blast him, right? So this guy, I gotta show y'all, this guy used to say Yahweh. He says, I used to say Yahweh, but he's gonna give like 3 disclaimers. He says, now in the modern Hebrew, for sure, you can get Yahweh. He don't deny that, but I'm gonna give you my argument why I think it's Yahuwah, and his argument is that I'm gonna show you the argument now. Okay, so we found out somebody by the name of Brian Earl Allen had wrote a book, or at least had a copyright provision, or how do they call it? It was copywritten, meaning that he was copyright cleared. So whatever he was copyright cleared of, it has something to do with the Bible. He published the Bible, and it seems like it's 2004. I can't find the Bible. I can find his website with his work on it though. And he published and he revived his work in 2009. This is the same time that these two came out. These two came out. And they took his work from 2004. I'm gonna show you that their argument because I got the page. Let me show it. Let me show it to you. Hold on. I'm gonna show you where they got the work from. Right here. Publish the name of Yahuah. I want y'all to see the spelling. Deborah Watchman, the Hebrew Roots Movement, Lamad Yahu, and this guy Madad Yahu, all got their arguments from here. Even the crew that wrote the Sefer, Stephen Pidgeon, it wasn't just him. He got the money and the marketing, put his name on it. But they were trying to do this for a while. It didn't work. And so in 2012, 2011, 12, they came to Israel and formed their group. And they republished this book and got the funding for it to publish it in 2014. But they marketed it strongly. So this was all about selling the book. All at the same time, 9 to 11 years, right? So this is the author of this confusion right now of claiming Yahuah. His name is by B. Earl Allen. I will publish my name to Yahuah. And so everybody started writing books in the name of Yahuah because this was about to bust out to be the new movement, right? Copyright 2004, permission is granted to copy portions of the booklet so long as no changes are made. In other words, so long as you copy it right? So that means that it was out by 2004. It's all here. Y'all can go through it. I'm gonna put it in this subscription box below. Y'all can go through his argument. I have not gone through his whole argument. I'm just going to show you that they took his argument. He didn't mind it though. Hold on. Moreh Lamajahu from the Path to Yahuah, not the Sefer, Stephen Pidgeon, Watchman Yahu, right? All stole. I'm using stole, even though he said you could steal it. I want y'all to put this out there. It was going to sell his book, right? All took up his argument. They didn't do their own research. And I'm proving it right now that they really didn't do their own research. They stole somebody else's research, claimed it, and they all either promoted a book so that they were making money off of or republished the Bible. Lamajahu and this guy republished the Bible in Yahuwah's name. They was the first to do it amongst us. Deborah Watchman they didn't publish anything. What they did was link their hands to the Sefer and get a cut out of it. All right. Now, in 2008, a guy by the name of Robert R. Hawkins wrote a book based upon Brian Earl Allen's book or Bible called Yahuah. Elohim is the father, Yahushua, because you want to see that they were starting to change from Yahushua to Yahusha, right? It started changing to Yahushua is the son, or Adonai is the father and Yahushua is the son, right? Something to that effect. He wrote a book, Robert R. Hawkins, not a book, a Bible, right? A whole nother Bible with Yahushua and prove it. And he used the same points from Brian Earl Allen. All right. And he published the name Yahuah. Sefer was done 212, but they were trying to do it before then. They didn't get around to it. And it was published in 2014. And because they were competing in the Hebrew Roots New Awakening, another dude I'm gonna show you about this dude called Daniel Merrick. He's a PhD. He used to say Yahweh. In 2014, he published a Yahuwah Bible called Yahuwah Scriptures, and it has not stopped since. It's been let me get my book out there in this new awakening. Yahuwah has been marketed as a strategy all over the YouTube and the Facebook and media to sell books and music. This dude in 2014 is military, ex-military. Go ahead, tell me some more about him.
Daniel?
Yeah, Daniel Merrick.
Daniel's ex-military. He was the top ranking officer. He graduated early in his high school. He was also part of U.S. Congress at one point in his
Part of the U.S. Congress.
And eventually, most recently, we found out he's being charged with over 300 counts of pedophilia and child pornography.
300 counts. Oh, yeah. Government, he's government and military. And he published a Yahuah, and he pronounced it with a W, he spelled it with a W too. And he used to say Yahweh, he switched and published a book. And his music actually was on like Star Wars or something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of music he's putting out there. Sounds like what's her name's music? His guitar, real folky. Adara's music, right? It's a scheme, y'all, off of one man's argument. So we're gonna go through it though, but I'm gonna use our people first. Before I deal with the white man, judgment starts in the house, right? In the house. Go ahead. She wants to say more about, now the person who's talking, her ex and her used to be a part of Lamont Yahuah's offshoot branch in California. Go ahead.
So Lamont Yahu and Medad Yahu wrote, supposedly, quote unquote, they're authors of a book called Torah, but it's basically just a KJV version with Strong's Dictionary, where they've replaced all of the father's names with parentheses Yahuah.
Yahuah.
And this was done in 2011. It's actually the first before the Sefer.
Before the Sefer, yeah.
And they published this book without even having YouTubes yet, without even being famous.
Yes, they saw. Yes, they saw the trend coming. Listen, they're military. They might have been sent to do it. I don't know anything about this Medad Yahu. The problem is that these people pop up, become great leaders, and you don't know nothing about their history. You can't go past their first book or YouTube page. But go ahead. But no, I know Lamont Yahu, the last time I heard, he took people back to Sunday worship.
Yeah.
He just switched the calendar 100 times. He's taking people to idol worship. And the dude is so, I've heard him speak. He's dumb. I'm gonna show you how dumb but he's clever. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, she's correct. They're worshiping on Sunday, the last I heard, and a lot of his teachings, he's very involved with archaeology and finding Egyptian hieroglyphs and things like that, with the halo and just really weird stuff. I was hearing from his lectures, but I didn't have enough knowledge to like disprove it because I was very new. But finally, being part of Sukkot in California under a man named Shaul, which was the leader of that sect at the time.
That's the big giant that my sister used to talk to. Go ahead.
He couldn't make it, and so he kind of appointed people lower than him, part of the assembly, to be leaders. And, you know, unmarried people were sleeping in the same tents. We were smoking cannabis, drinking.
Smoking pot, drinking, fornication on Sukkot.
Nobody said anything. It was, and I was doing it. I was part of it. Nobody said anything that it was wrong. It was all just kind of go with the flow. People were into yoga, Buddhism, gems and crystals, Dr. Sebi, eating vegan at the time, and it was all kind of promoted. Nobody said anything bad about it, and it was just really crazy to see. I was kind of into it for a second because that was kind of my lifestyle anyway before I found the truth. But then once I started reading the commandments and realizing that this is idol worship and this is wickedness, and Yah was telling me to come out of this, I realized that I needed to step back from them, that wasn't it.
Hallelujah. Now, like I said, this dude is real undercover. He got his stuff real undercover. He got ranks. He got people around him that protect him. He travels to Israel. His people heard, some of his people heard the come out message, but he wasn't giving no direction for his people. But while he was over there trucking how to figure out how to leave and come out, he said he's been doing it. And so he's really just working the people, right? And let me say it again. I'm going to use mostly Lamont Yahu. I'm going to do a part 2 because I can't run through everybody's thing. The thing is, I'm going to show you where it came from first, from our people, and then how it triggered. You're going to hear the same speech, this whole process. And then I'm going to go back to the originator of this doctrine, Brian Earl Allen, another day to show you what he says. But what you're going to find out is that he says what he says, or he's saying what Brian Earl Allen is saying. And there has actually been quite a few people in the white Hebrew roots movement that have tried to go against this lie. And I also found someone that obliterated this lie, but it was from the Hebrew roots movement. It doesn't hit our movement. We don't research that far, right? All right. So we got Yahuah and Deborah Washman. It was all a money scheme. They chose Yahuah for the selling of the books, and it was going to be the new movement. And I said that she was the agent, and I believe that they all were sent to create this new movement by Satan to throw us off, right? The next person was this guy called Apostle Bennett. Real low key. He's not really all over the YouTube like that. I think he has a physical ministry. Like they all, they all had a physical ministry. So seems like they were okay with their ministry. They didn't really want to do too much on the YouTube. He tried. First time I heard was he did a debate with Yahuah. I want y'all to recognize the W, how they, right? Because it changed to without the W after some time, right? That's how I know where they're getting it from, the way they spelling it. Apostle Bennett versus Brother Josh. I don't agree with Josh's doctrine, though Josh does defend the fact that probably, most likely, the name is Yahweh. Though he doesn't care about the name doctrine. He thinks anybody that, because he still says Jesus Christ. So you know where he's coming from. It don't matter, it's just your heart. Nevertheless, he destroyed, this dude was preaching like Martin Luther King was fighting for his life. And he gave a sermon. And the man didn't know Hebrew. He spoke from ignorance. And I traced him all the way back to 9 years ago. So he pushed this also too, underground. And he has his online thing. That's his name. He looks gay there, but he looks greasy here. I don't know. I had an over and look like that. That was something, yeah. But greasy there. He sounds like Martin Luther King. And he basically, instead of writing a book or anything like that, he declared that he was anointed and the revelation of Yahuwah came straight from the Most High Yah. That's what he said, right? And that's his debate. Y'all should go listen to it. I'll put it in the description box. Even though Josh is ignorant in his doctrine, he still killed him with his foolishness because he doesn't know the Hebrew. He proved that he doesn't know anything about the Hebrew language. He just wanted you to believe that that the Most High came in and revealed it to him, right? And he started saying Allahayim, right? This was this doctrine about El is the Canaanite and going back to the Arabic way of saying things, that everything is with an I. And I know where they're getting that from in reading the Senior's Hebrew grammar, right? 9 years ago. I'm going to take you through this awakening. I'm going to take you through it. How all y'all right now came to Yahuwah and believed it, right? And didn't know why you said it. Y'all just had books that said Yahuwah, so it must have been Yahuwah because it no longer says Lord and God. Not knowing that there was a holy name, there was holy names that been printed from hundreds of years ago, y'all, but they kept taking it off the market, so it'd be so difficult to find. As I show you my old book that I first got in Africa at the age of 14, I still have it to this day. And you can see also a print of it in Malcolm's video. I put, that's the clip right there where we got a Bible with Yahweh's name. It's the old print. They have to keep putting it into print because they sell out so quick. At one time, there was years that you could only find it in South Africa. You had to order it from South Africa. And then I think they went out of print, right? Because they only print for so much because of funding. Barnes & Nobles didn't sell it anymore for years. And then I believe now you can get it on Amazon, right? I'll put that in a link about getting the holy name scriptures. And people ask me all the time, and I didn't choose that. I don't use that because it has a better translation. I use it because it has Yahweh's name. There's a mind programming thing. By the time you're trying to get Lord and Jesus off your mouth, you need to start reading something that says the name so you can put the picture, the image, right? And these people that wrote this book, that wrote their books in Yahuwah's name, knew what they was doing. They was going to ingrain this in your mind, that no information could come and seal you out of it or deliver you out of this lie, right? Apostle Bennett. Now, there's other people, but I'm giving you the main ones that push this like to the max. Then you had the famous awakening, right? Those were the famous ones, right? Then you had Yahu Awakening Remnant Coalition. Though he had his ministry for years, according to him, 20-something years, Christianity, he start using Yahuwah without the W 8 to 9 years ago. 8 to 9 years ago. I want y'all to see this progression. 8 to 9 years ago, before that, he was totally Christian, didn't know that he was still didn't know nothing, right? But he never went with the Yahusha or Yahushua. He still kept firm to Yahushua. He kept firm to Yahushua because he never picked up the doctrine of there's no O's or W's, right? He didn't pick up that doctrine. He just picked up the doctrine. It's not Yahweh, it's Yahuwah. And all of this also came with this Paleo-Hebrew conspiracy. We're going to talk about the Paleo-Hebrew conspiracy. That was another way to get people into their ministries and thinking they were learning a lot of nothing, right? Then we had Yahuwah is one. He's not that big, but he's underground. He took up the come out message. He took up the come out message, like interestingly so. And he's hiding in Egypt and he's giving people up and he's very zealed up. And if you come to Egypt and he finds out that you're doing better than him, he's going to turn you into the GUI. That's what he calls the GUI. You see, he took up Yahuwah without the W or Allahayim, right? So he took up the argument that there's no O's or W sounds in the Hebrew or E's, right? Allahayim, right? Because this, I want y'all to notice, then we had Hebrew Nation, right? There's some before them. I don't remember his name. I don't remember his name. I'll find out later. I did hear of his name. I forget his name. Daniel or something like, I could be wrong, right? But he's hiding in Egypt. Yeah, I'm giving them publicity because I'm calling them out for Yah's judgment, right? Then we had Hebrew Nation. Hebrew Nation was 6 to 7 years ago. They came on the scene. And they came straight out with Yahuwah and Yahusha. Yahusha and Yahuwah, right? Then we had, now I put the Great Awakening because they really babies in this, right? He might have been doing some underground work, but when he got on the scene as far as the YouTube movement was only 3 years ago. We're going to use him in a later video. This Ron Howard, the Ronald Howard foolishness that he's preaching. We're going to talk about what he's preaching, right? And he's pushing the Yahuwah in the Great Hebrew Awakening, right? Ron Howard. Yeah, he had the nerve to get up there and say something not too long ago. We're going to talk about him. But he came on the scene 3 years ago speaking that nonsense, all right? And then there's others like Seed of Israel 5 years ago. He came on the scene 6 years ago, but 5 years ago is when he started using Yahuwah. And he's a faceless, well, he puts his face up there sometimes, but he started off faceless. He barely shows his face. Yahuwah is one is faceless also. Apostle Bennett, even though he shows his face, he's really faceless. Truth Unedited, faceless. He started 7 years ago, but he started changing. He used to say Yahweh. Now he's going with Yahuwah. About how many years ago? 2 to 3 years ago, he changed because that's when the movement really had its height. Truth Unveiled, that's the homo faggot. It's not Truth Unveiled, it's something 777, and he's the one that's spreading all this false information about Jerusalem. He said he's an agent, and I told you that he's demonically possessed. He hears voices. He's gay. He doesn't think anything is wrong with it. And he went to psychologists in college, y'all, and I believe that he's a Manchurian candidate, that he doesn't know what he's doing. Right. And then we had the Great Awakening International, and then we had Benaya Israel that came out 6 years ago with Yahuwah, and then Michael Israel and came out, and then Pastor Dow has always been there, but he was a Quaker, y'all. He probably said Yahweh in the beginning, but as far as I know, a lot of these people came straight from Lord God Jesus Christ to the Most High to Abba Yah to Yahuwah, right? But a few of them did say Yahweh and then they switched out. No. Let me take that back. Only Madadja who said Yahweh and then switched out. Nobody, Truth Unedited, Daniel is. Okay. Yes, the white guy, Daniel. We're going to talk about the white guy later. I know this is a lot of information, right? But they all jumped on the scene with Yahusha Yahushua all around the same time, and yeah, with their online ministries and publishing books and commodities in the name of Yahuwah. It became the big popular move, and they call it the Great Awakening. And the Great Awakening, as I showed you, didn't start with us. We took the whole thing from the Hebrew roots movement and the doctrine of Yahuwah, right? To create confusion, to separate the Hebrew roots movement from Yahweh, and to separate y'all coming back to Yahweh as well. All right.